Alright, so I've got my hands on Super Bloody Hockey. Now, this is a game I only heard about through comments on my recent review of old-time hockey. Now, supposedly these games are very similar, but this game decides to go for a far more retro look. But despite all that, is the game fun? And most importantly, is the game worth the money? Well, let's find out. Now, to kick things off, let's focus on the aesthetic. First up is the music. The music here is nothing but chiptune goodness. Each song is catchy and really captures the hectic gameplay on screen. Chiptune artist Sean Daly really nailed it here, and successfully takes the player back in time, which is perfect since the game uses a 16-bit style reminiscent to the era where Sega Genesis reigned supreme. The graphics are very colorful, everything is easily identifiable, and sprites are big and blocky. While it fits perfectly in the era it emulates, in today's day and age it looks a bit dated. But then again, in HD, the graphics are crisp, frame rates are smooth, and the colors really pop. Especially the color red, and oh boy does it ever. Speaking of which, let's move on to the gameplay. Again, if you played any hockey game in the old 16-bit era, this should feel very familiar to you, but not too familiar. While you can use the keyboard to play this game, I much prefer to use a gamepad, and thankfully this game has full support. Controls are easy to pick up and play, but at the same time hard to master, especially with the ability to attack other players. Unlike typical classic NHL games, this game has no rules, and everything goes. Anybody and everybody can be manhandled. Besides that, there aren't pre-established teams here, so no famous players will make an appearance, and each team is essentially a blank slate with a country name and uniform color attached to it. But there does lie an element of strategy in choosing your team. The player has the ability to construct 4-man teams out of 3 classes. The playmaker, a character with mid-ground stats and a high chance of winning face-offs. The sniper, a weak but fast player that has great shot accuracy. And the enforcer, the character who is, well, an enforcer. They are slow and can't shoot worth a damn, but are extremely strong and can pummel any enemy team player with just one hit, which is especially useful when the game switches to fight mode. Oh yeah, once a lot of blows are thrown out, both teams will get into a full-on brawl, which is fun on its own, but the stakes are raised a bit because whoever loses the fight will have one skater incapacitated for a long period of time afterwards, tipping the odds in favor of the winning team. And not only that, the incapacitated team member will stay on the ice and pretty much seize and bleed out. It is gruesome as hell, yet at the same time very funny to watch because of the 16-bit sprite. Overall, the gameplay has the making of an arcade sports classic, but these added elements of strategy really push it over the top, making what could be a nonsensical button masher into a game where the best will most certainly stand out. Now to finish things off, let's talk about the overall replayability. From a distance, this game appears to be your regular run-of-the-mill hockey game with multiple modes. Well, that's exactly what you get, plus again, the gratuitous amounts of blood. Well, actually you can choose the amount of blood in the game, but since this game is called Super Bloody Hockey, I crank that setting as high as it goes. Besides all that, it really is a normal hockey game with a handful of cool features. You are given the typical exhibition mode, a tournament mode, and a special challenge mode that allows the player to unlock special game rules through specially made matches. Such rules include a turbo mode that speeds up players by decreasing their weight, and even turn on manually controlled goalies, which is a necessity in my eyes. Seriously, the first time you play this game, try to unlock that as soon as possible, because once you want to play this game in multiplayer, manual goalies is where it's at. Other than that though, once you complete the challenge mode, there is not much else to do. At launch, there is no story mode or online multiplayer. Now, while these features may be added in the future, seriously, the developer has said this game is a work in progress and would love to hear feedback. This is still pretty much what you get. But now moving on to my final thoughts, I want you to take a step back. You will see that even though this is a very simplistic homage to games of yesteryear with an added bloodier twist, you are still left with a fun local multiplayer hockey experience that focuses on the ridiculous, the hectic, and the unsportsmanlike conduct nature of hockey in general. Bottom line, if you aren't a fan of hockey games, this does little to change your mind. But if you're a hockey fan, you're going to have a super bloody good time. Well, that's a review. And now, let's get to the most important question. Is it worth the money? And at retail $8, yeah, this is easily worth the money. I mean, this is a must-buy if you're a fan of hockey games or any classic sports games in general. I mean, I was dead set on buying this game after playing old-time hockey, but the developer, Lord Lemke, decided to, jump the gun and give me a review copy for free, which I'm extremely thankful for. But if this game ever decides to come out for the PS4, especially with an online mechanic, yeah, I'm definitely buying this game again. But regardless, as I said before, this game is essentially not done. The developer is still working on it, and from what they've said to me through an email, that they want people to, talk about this game. They want they want to discuss more, more they could add, what more they could tweak. Regardless, this game is great, but with great power comes great responsibility. So, with that said, I would love to see what the community and gamers alike can add to this game, because again, this game is great, but it can be so much better. Just, it has so much potential. But regardless, that's the video. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys later.